Hey, it's Miss Greenwood, and today we're going to learn how to make watercolor topo maps. Before we get started on these, you probably have some questions like what is a topo map? How do I use watercolor? And how do I know what to outline in black? Because I see some black outlines here. We're going to dive into all of that today. This is a project that will take a couple different steps, so we'll have a few videos that explain how to do step 1, 2, and 3. Let's get started on the first step, which is learning what a topo map is. Here we go.
Maps are a little different from your average map. Not only do they show the location of things like roads and trails, but once you get the hang of reading them, they also help you visualize three-dimensional terrain from a flat piece of paper. Contour lines are what really make topographic maps something special. These lines connect all the points on the map that share the same elevation. By looking at how the contour lines spread out and come together, you can get a good sense of what the terrain looks like. When the lines are packed close together, that tells you that the elevation is changing a lot in a short distance, so the terrain is quite steep. As the lines spread out, the elevation changes more slowly, so the slope is more mellow. Contour lines can also help you visualize the shape of the terrain. For example, as the lines form smaller and smaller circles, they're probably showing a peak. Spend some time with a map of a familiar area and see if you can pick out terrain features just by looking at the contour lines. Every fifth contour line on a topo map is thicker than the others, and those thick lines are called index lines. At some point along every index line, you'll find the elevation for that line written on the map. The change in elevation from one contour line to the next is always the same on the map. And most maps have either a 40 or 80-foot contour interval. If your map has an 80-foot interval, that means that each contour line is 80 vertical feet away from the next.
All right, we now have a better understanding of what topo maps or topography maps are. They are maps that show us the different elevations in our environment using contour lines. What I'd like to do now is put an image on your screen. You can find this image on Google Classroom and on our class website as well. And for this activity, I'd like you to look at the contour image of the mountain range on the left and try to match it with the correct side view of the mountain range on the right. You'll want to pause your video for a moment and do your best to match up which contour image and profile image match and go together. Before I show you the answers, I'd like to show you one quick reminder that what you see on the map will be the contour lines, and what you see in person would be a 3D version like what you're seeing on your screen. So I'm going to put up the answers to your profiles and contour lines, and then we're going to take a moment to discuss this in class together before I introduce video number 2 and 3 for this project. So make sure you have your supplies picked up and ready to go. You'll need watercolors, watercolor paper, and a black marker or pen. Make sure it's not a ballpoint pen. Those won't work well for this project. All right, I'll see you in class.